My neighbor thinks I've lost my mind. Every weekend she watches me dig holes throughout my garden and bury what looks like kitchen trash, old newspapers and hair clippings. But while she's spending hundreds on soil amendments and fertilizers, my garden produces tomatoes the size of softballs and lettuce so crisp, it practically snaps when you touch it. The difference? I've discovered how to create an underground earthworm empire that works around the clock to transform my soil into plant paradise. Why earthworms are your garden's most valuable employees. Think of earthworms as nature's ultimate multitaskers. These incredible creatures operate as living composting machines, processing organic matter and converting it into nutrient-rich castings that plants crave. Beyond their composting abilities, earthworms function as unpaid construction workers for your garden. Their extensive tunnel systems create natural irrigation and drainage channels, allowing water and air to penetrate deep into the soil. Kitchen scraps can actually create earthworm magnets. The most powerful earthworm attractant is probably decomposing in your trash can right now. Vegetable peels, fruit scraps, coffee grounds, and eggshells create an irresistible underground buffet when they're buried properly in your garden. The secret here is mixing coffee grounds with other organic materials, rather than just burying them alone, since pure coffee grounds can actually become too acidic. The cardboard trick really does create earthworm condominiums. Here's where things get interesting, and probably why my neighbor questions my sanity. Plain cardboard boxes, newspaper, and even paper towels become premium earthworm real estate when you bury them strategically in your garden. So, here's the thing. The earthworms actually consume the cardboard as it breaks down, and at the same time, they use those layers as protective housing. It's a pretty neat system, honestly. Fallen leaves are like underground earthworm currency. Most gardeners, they treat fallen leaves as waste, but the smart gardeners out there recognize them as valuable earthworm currency. As the worms process the leaves, they create this incredibly fertile soil that honestly transforms plant growth. Oh, and grass clippings work in a similar way, but they do require a bit of careful handling. Fresh clippings can create oxygen-depleted conditions if they're buried in thick layers, so you should always mix grass clippings with brown materials like leaves or paper before burying them. The underground log highway system is, honestly, one of the most effective long-term earthworm attraction strategies out there. It involves burying partially rotted logs and branches throughout your garden. As wood slowly decomposes over several years, it provides a steady food source while creating air pockets that really help improve soil drainage. The hair and fur secret weapon. Now this might sound a bit peculiar, but human hair, pet fur, and natural fibers like cotton and wool actually create excellent earthworm attractants. If you have rabbits, guinea pigs, or other small pets, their natural bedding materials can create an excellent earthworm habitat. Used hay bedding, when combined with pet droppings and fur, really sets up earthworm paradise conditions. Just make sure that any fabric you use is 100% natural fiber without any synthetic blends or chemical treatments. Mastering the art of strategic burial is, honestly, pretty crucial. Success with earthworm attraction depends heavily on proper timing and technique. Spring and fall provide optimal conditions for burying earthworm attractants, since earthworms remain most active during these periods. Distribute buried attractants across different garden areas over time to, spread earthworm populations evenly throughout your beds. Maintaining your earthworm empire really does take a bit of ongoing attention to their basic needs. Earthworms demand consistent moisture, so make sure to maintain regular watering during dry periods. Instead, rely on natural fertility provided through earthworm castings. This creates positive cycles where healthy earthworm populations create fertile soil, supporting healthy plants that provide more organic matter for earthworms. Cover crops like crimson clover and winter rye provide organic matter while protecting soil during off-seasons. The underground revolution in your garden. Transforming your garden into earthworm paradise requires patience, but, the results justify every effort. When you start thinking like an earthworm and providing what they need, you're not just improving soil. Remember that every piece of buried organic matter represents an investment in your soil's future. Start small, experiment with different materials, and honestly, observe what works best in your specific conditions. Don't forget to subscribe to Crop Corner and share this earthworm wisdom with fellow gardeners who could benefit from building their own underground workforce. Together, we can create healthier gardens and more sustainable approaches to growing food and flowers. Your soil will thank you, and so will your earthworm army working tirelessly beneath your feet.